We've arrived at the Haunted Inn in Mirkwood, which is just up in the Dower Stocks from the entry area, and bingo, perhaps not surprisingly, is to be found within. So let's pop in and see bingo. And the first task he wants to give us is to just have a look around the haunted village, just to the side of the Haunted Inn. So again, we're just clicking on the emote, and there are 3 places we have to look at. We're just a bit south of here. Yep. And then underneath the Haunted Inn is a graveyard. And probably the simplest thing would be just to essentially jump off. And just swim across the little lake here. In fact, we just go around it. There's a whole storyline which you pick up from the Haunted Inn all around this area of the happenings of the area. And then we just ride back up to bingo. Just up the hill here. There's Bert for the Mirkwood quests. Right, that's the end of that quest. And now we're off on a scavenger hunt, pretty much all over Mirkwood. Fortunately, many of the items not too far away from the central area here at Ballad. But what we're going to do first is just ride south. The nearest items are mushrooms. The roads, there are roads here in Mirkwood, but often quite hard to follow, which is by design. So where we're heading is just due south into the Drown Holt. And we'll just jump down. Mirkwood's very nicely done, I feel. It's a little bit difficult navigating in some places, but it really does give the impression of being a fairly dark and dreary place. Not terribly inviting, and I fully understand why bingo, essentially, is holed up in the Haunted Inn and not too many plans of going too far away. Oh, and here's the marshy taters. You do get attacked by these bog lights, but they don't do anything. But make you all a bit sick. They're a little bit like these buzzing flies in the Shire, just aggravating. Right, that is the marshy taters. Wasn't mushrooms at all picked up. And we'll just head over to the stable master, which is right there. There we go. And we'll catch a ride up to Ballad. Mirkwood, like several locations, areas that were created around this time of LOTRO development, have gated fast ponies, which like a Ryggian and a Lothlorien, which does make it a little bit of a pain to travel around until you've got a fair bit of experience and done a bunch of quests and built up your reputation, which is just a pain, and certainly something I'm glad they've dropped off in later expansions. And in fact, I wish I'd go back and change it on the ones that they have gated it on. It doesn't really add anything to gameplay at all, I don't think. Right, what we're doing is we're going to jump off the horse, or the stag, just as we go up the hill, as there's several more of the things we're looking for just before we get there. It is the middle of the night and it really is quite dim, which is, yeah, as it should be. The stars are out though. The whole Mirkwood area tends to be one I skip when I'm playing through the game, to be honest. It's very much a bit like Forest Shell, which is, there is a quest line, an epic quest line to follow, but it doesn't follow the books at all. It feels a bit bolted on, and often by the time you get here you're over level or you're on level. Right, what we're looking for here is some plants and some crows. There goes sage bushes. There goes two of them. And are there any crabine about? That would be a yes. Another sagebush. The sage bushes are all around the buildings, or the walls I should say. Here we go, just a lot. Excellent, so that is the sage all collected, and we're just looking for another crow or two. In fact, just one. There we go. That's the crabine sorted. And then we need some mint and some spiders. Well, the spiders are fairly easy because there's millions of those in the scuttle dells. So we'll just ride north. And let's find some spiders. LOTROs there now. This is really quite maze-like, the Scuttledulls. We'll just have a wander around. Let's go this way. One more. There's a spider when you need one. There we go. Right, let's try and find our way back out again. There we go. And finally, sprigs of mint, which are just over there. Oops. We could grab a ride and hop off, but I'm not convinced it's any quicker. And we need to go up, up, up. To Minuscule. If you're playing through the game, naturally there are quests that would bring you up here as well. There we have sprigs of mint. And another. And another. And then that's all of it, yep. And we'll head back to the Haunted Inn and we have that milestone. And we'll just pop back into Haunted Inn and have a chat with Bingo. And then we find one of our ranger friends, who we will meet at several points throughout the game. And then we have a chat with the ghost. Yes, Greenwood the Great. And that's our quest for the week here. Cash that in. And then we need to go and find Willem. and without some sort of guide I've got no idea how you would randomly find him. Presumably if you were just playing through the game the first time before the wiki and that was updated, this would have been potentially terribly frustrating. But we'll head over to Angerland, because I happen to know he's over there. He is rather hidden. He's on a road, but he's really quite obscure. And you'd easily miss him, I think. And I wish I had the speedy bonies, because this is quite a lengthy ride over essentially the whole width of Mirkwood. He's right by Dolgold. Reputation in Mirkwood is quite tricky to accumulate. Fortunately, at the end there are a bunch of repeatable quests, so if you're so inclined, you can just repeat those to build your rep up. Similarly with the LOTRO area, really quite tricky to get up to kindred reputation level, and there are some nice mounts and things to earn, so it is worth it. I've done it on one character. Generally speaking though, I wouldn't bother with that rep grind. Some areas are really far more straightforward than others. For example, Moria is very straightforward. Lots of drops for reputation, task items you can drop in for reputation, plus all the quests. I find that one very straightforward. I think the main difference is the lack of task items. There's essentially nothing here you can hand in for tasks to earn rep that way. And if you're fighting your way through a region, it really is quite straightforward to create 100 items a day, drop in 100 task items, 3,000 rep. It does help build up their reputation score really quite easily. And we're here, almost exactly where we were a moment ago. Heading off towards Dolgold. Thought the volume was a little bit loud, quiet. I'll hop off the stag at some point. Here's the elf base. The attack on Dolgold. Let's just hop off here. And we're essentially heading for the main gateway. And then I think there he is. Boom! And he has a satchel for us. And handily, we can just milestone back to the Haunted Inn. And we can just hop back in. And that essentially is bingo done with Mirkwood. Didn't get too far beyond the inn. Let's stable master back to base. We have a fast pony there. And then we're going to ride across the Anduin. There we go, back to LOTRO. And we'll just stable master along to Karas Galahon. Galadon. And now follows really quite a dull passage of gameplay if I ever saw one, as we essentially just go back and forth a few times. I do wonder sometimes what game designers are actually just thinking of when they make us do this for really not too much purpose. But as you'll notice, we'll go see bingo, then we go back, then we go see bingo, and then we go back. I'm fairly certain they could have combined those somehow into just at least one trip less. Really not convinced it adds too much to the gameplay. You really can see the contrast between Mirkwood and LOTRO, which is very, very well done. Let's just hop up the stairs. Bingo's safely back on his bench. Who sends us exactly back to where we just were. Would be easy with fast travel, but they're gated until we've earned a bunch of quest completions in LOTRO. And back to the vineyards again. and back to the docks. And we have some limbus now for bingo. And we have to go back to bingo again. We'll do just milestone there. There we go. And then in a second we can just come back again. As I happen to know, that's exactly what happens. And here we are back again. And that quest is finished. And then finally we are now moving on to the Great River.